Tell you what killed you, Drew. I had you all the way until you were saying that hitting into a triple play was worse than striking out 5 times. Coming from a guy that's probably never struck out, I'd rather hit into 5 triple plays than strike out 5 times. At least you hit the ball.
That was not a really tenable argument.
I texted for Davey after you said that.
Sometimes you got to make do.
All right, we're going to do our on-field instruction now. Davey's going to join us. Drew, great job again, coming up with great questions. All right, Drew Olson from OnMilwaukee.com. And our on-field instructional now, we talked a lot about Fantasy Baseball Camp. Of course, it's every winter you can join. And, Rock, you have some special guests. I'm going to work the mic over here, but because they're not mic'd up. However, we have a husband and wife team, don't we?
Well, this is not the husband. This is the husband and the wife, Malcolm and Jeanie Hatfield. And we've got Paul Bishop from San Diego. They call him the Colonel. He's a Marine Colonel, right, Colonel?
Right.
You've been to Fantasy Camp how many years?
This will be my 11th coming up next February. And
is this something you look forward to every year? Or you kind of begrudgingly go every year?
Bill, is 52 weeks out of the year. Fantasy Camp week is without a doubt the most fun week of the entire year. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
That's awesome. Now you two guys, you guys have been coming a long time too. Husband and wife, you guys get along on the baseball field, stuff like that?
Yeah, we never play on the same team though.
That's right.
That's a for sure thing.
She's the only one who tries to get me out when I hit a single to right and I run to first. She tries to nail me at first base.
Yeah, because I play
Have
right
you ever
field.
felt out of place or kind of overwhelmed on the baseball field with all the guys?
Never. No, in fact, I get upset if they think they're gonna, try to play pansy for me.
I got to tell you though, you're one of the highest draft choices. I'm not sure why that may be, but I think you're one of the highest draft choices. You are.
I came out here watching my husband play, and I kept thinking by Thursday I could run circles around these guys. But actually, I didn't realize by Thursday they're kind of hurting.
Former Miss Wisconsin sings the national anthem every year down at Fantasy Camp.
Beautiful. I like that.
Let's talk about the triple play. I mean, these guys
that's
not
what
only
we're going to put you to work.
They not only can talk real well, but they're fantasy campers with a lot of ability. Now Slash, we call him, plays third base all the time. Why don't you go over to third? Jeanie, you're a first baseman, and Colonel, you're going to go over at second base. We're going to reenact the triple play, Davey, of a couple of days ago, where there's a couple of different scenarios where you can have a triple play, I mean legitimately, and the one that Casey McGee was able to turn is perhaps the easiest. We don't have third base in the ground, but the idea is you get one of those one hoppers or a hot shot where the third baseman is actually going to catch the ball right on the bag. So Slash, why don't you go? I'm not going to throw it on the ground because I'm afraid I might not make a good throw. So basically the only way you can do this is for the ball to get right on the bag, and you don't even have to move in order to make the throw. The guy for going from second to third is automatically out. You throw to second base, and all of a sudden, it becomes a double play ball. And then you go over from second over to first. The other scenario that we talk about a lot, why don't you go over to shortstop, Slash? And as we were saying, the other day against the Giants, Casey McGee, Aaron Rowan at the plate, a one hopper right at third base. He really doesn't have to move, and it becomes a double play. If the third baseman, Davey, has to move at all, I mean, even a step or two, he's not going to be able to get the guy at first base.
Not at all.
So it's one of those bang-bang plays. So how can you possibly say you'd rather strike out 5 times than hit it with triple play?
That's a form of sports writing.
Right, that's a sports writer. But anyway, all right, the other scenario would be, Craig, you're going to be the runner, okay? There's a men at first and second, or even bases loaded and nobody out, okay? It's a full count. They run on the pitch. Obviously, you can't do that with the bases loaded, but they're running on the pitch, and you get a line drive. Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead, run.
I'm running.
Run. You're stealing the base. Now there's a line drive. You tag the bag at second. The guy at second is out, and then you tag the runner coming to you, right, Colonel? Get him in a rundown, and there's your triple play.
You know, how apropos is that? Because in 1968, that same situation. I'm a runner at first base. We had runners first and second. I'm with Cleveland Indians. Right. Joe Askew's at the plate. Alvin Dark says, 3-2, we're running. Take off, line drive to Ron Hansen, former coach here.
Right.
And he's playing for the Senators. Line drive up the middle. He catches the ball, steps on second, and tags me coming in.
Well, that's the way you do it.
Easy, unassisted triple play.
There you go. Well, then there was one of those, the Philadelphia Phillies, Eric Bruntley pulled one of those off. You tag the bag, then you tag the guy coming to second base. The only other one that I can remember, and that's happened, the Brewers have pulled one of these off. Same type of a scenario, ground ball. You turn the double play. The guy that's going from second to third, he tries to score on the double play. First baseman throws home. and you tag them out, there's your triple play. So really 3 different scenarios that you can see legitimately that you could have a double play. Now we've turned a lot of double plays in fantasy camp.
I was going to ask you guys, does he work on the triple play in fantasy camp?
I can't say we.
I think we will this year. I think we will this year. That will be a particular station in the instructionals in the first day.
Is he the big instructor like this? Does he talk a lot during fantasy camp?
Yeah, I'd say.
I kind of organize.
Motivated.
I kind of organize.
He likes to surround himself with the guys who know what they're doing.
That's the way to go.
Wow.
It is.
He's
That's
learned.
true.
I know it.
Every good man has a lot of great people behind him.
Well, you know,
people.
the
Coaches.
That's good
but
stuff.
all in all, the one thing, whether it's fantasy camp or here, to start a triple play or double play, it starts with the guy catching the ball first and then being able to make a good throw. There's got to take 3 good throws.
Right. 3 good throws.
Awesome
and there
stuff,
you go.
guys. And there's information on fantasy camp, of course, coming up 2010, very early. So get a jump on it. Thanks, you guys. Nice job. All right, we're going to hear from the skipper, Ken Maka, when we come back.